What's going on, guys? So really quick, had a conversation with a client of mine a couple of days ago. We took her measurements, and she has fallen below 20% body fat, which is great. She's trying to lean out, conserve as much muscle mass as she can. But what we saw on the measurements, although she did drop some fat mass, her skeletal mass did take a dip. And so, you know, like everyone would wonder, well, why is that? Why is that? If she's training about 5 times a week, um, and she's dialed in on her nutrition, as far as she's in a caloric deficit, and tracking everything that she's eating. But one of two things is happening now. She trains 5 to 6 times a week, which I've mentioned. She sees me once a week. The other time she does on her own. Now she's much younger, so in her mind this just makes sense to her. More is better. Little by little, we're changing that mindset, where she needs to space out her workout sessions so that she can have adequate rest time. And so one of the things that could be happening is that she may be overtraining, regardless of the fact that she is spacing out her leg days and her upper body days. She still may need some more rest days in between those workout sessions, because overtraining can happen without you even realizing it. Because if you're training 5 to 6 times a week, so even though you're not getting sore or not maybe feeling sore, the effects of overtraining is still happening. You're not letting your central nervous system, and you're not letting your muscles adequately recover. That's number one. Number two, looking at her nutrition or her diet, she's very low on carbs. Now, why is that important? Well, carbohydrates are the main source and the most available or readily available source of energy that our body uses when we're doing high intensity of effort activities, such as sprinting, running, weight training, of course, any activity that's with a high intensity that increases and elevates our heart rate. And we need to start using sugar as energy, and that comes from carbs. The carbohydrates in our bodies that we ingest, we convert that to sugar, and that's what gives us the energy. Now, if you're very low on carbohydrates, that's going to really hinder the progress of you trying to conserve muscle mass at the same time you're trying to lose body fat. And the reason that is, if there's almost little to none readily available sugar from carbohydrates, it's gonna have to pull it from somewhere else. And our muscles have sugar in them, so that's where it's gonna pull the sugar energy. And so what happens when it pulls from there? It starts to deplete the muscle, or at least the muscle size. So therefore, because there's no more carbohydrate stores or glycogen in our storage anymore from the carbs, now it's pulling up from the muscle and turning that into sugar. So that, for me, I think it's the main culprit for why there is or has been a dip in her skeletal muscle mass. And for everyone else out there that's trying to build muscle and drop some body fat, you want to make sure that you still have a high intake of carbs, while being on a caloric deficit. You want to make sure that you get good enough adequate protein according to your lean body weight, but you also want to make sure that you are consuming enough carbs to support the physical activity that you're doing, if that's weight training or running or whatever. That's going to really help you have more energy, have a readily energy available, for when it comes to the physical activities that you're doing, and not take away from your muscle mass or size. And that goes for both men and women, especially for the females that are trying to build your butt. Yeah, if you're not eating enough carbs, it's gonna eat up the muscle mass in your butt. So make sure you are doing your due diligence, and don't be afraid of the carbs. You're gonna burn it up anyways.